Hello, friends.
Hi.
It's the Cinemondo
No.
podcast.
Here we are.
You guys
We're
like
here because there's horror.
you like scary movies and stuff?
Yes, I do.
Yes, we do.
Are you
I
are
also
you
like horror that's not scary, which is probably what this is.
are you are you afraid of clowns? Do clowns make you scared?
You know, a lot of people are scared of clowns. I'm not necessarily scared of them, but they can be creepy in horror
They
movies.
can be creepy. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody thinks. I mean, nowadays everybody thinks of John Wayne Gacy and creepy clowns, clowns that are made to be creepy, like Pennywise and other. You can buy rubber masks of this scary clown with the sharp teeth.
Mhm.
So clowns have been
Killer
transformed
clowns.
into scary, but in the olden days, I think clowns were just like considered funny. It's kind of or like these ridiculous. I never understood when I was a kid. I never understood what a clown was supposed to be.
He's supposed to be funny.
He's
But
supposed to be
with the
funny.
pure
Yeah.
white face and the painted stuff on
And
the
he's
face, like
supposed to, I think he's supposed to look ridiculous.
right.
So, yeah. It's
kids.
kind of demeaning in a way. But that's the reason I think they had that movie like Killer Clowns from Space. Outer
Oh, I
Space.
love that
Yeah.
movie. So good. Steve Kyoto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyoto
Mhm.
Brothers,
Oh, I love
Stephen,
it.
Edward, and Charlie. I used to
Oh
work
my
for those
God.
guys.
So good. Yeah.
Some of my first jobs in the business were because of the Kyoto Brothers.
I should have worn my Killer Clowns t-shirt for this. It was a missed opportunity. Shit. Oh well.
But yeah, clowns have turned into this thing, I guess, that something that's, I think, something that you can't completely define. I've always, usually things are representative. Like when you dress up like something, you're either dressing up like a werewolf or a wolf, or you're dressing up like something. But when a clown dresses up, what are they dressing up as? They're dressing up as like an exaggerated human, like something, which is kind of weird. Like, what are they supposed to be?
I think they're kind of like a toy. Like they're trying to make
Yeah.
themselves look like a toy in a way, and that
Just-
kids would find funny and cute. Even though
Mhm.
now Stephen King basically put clowns on the map as scary
Right.
by writing the book It.
He cemented it.
I did like in It how they addressed a lot of horror movie types and genres. Like the whole point was to bring in like genre types, and it wasn't just about clowns. It was about what can he scare people with, what they think is scary.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times
Mhm.
is a horror movie trope. So I love that. Now they
Like
haven't really
spiders
done
or-
that. I know.
Yeah.
In the It movies with Skarsgård, which is the same people that are doing the series, and Skarsgård is in the series. Apparently, he was also
Right.
in Castle Rock. So Skarsgård is a friend to Stephen King. Apparently, he's in everything. So I'm very interested to see, because this actually is like a precursor to the It book. So it's like 1960s. It leads up to the first film that came out with Skarsgård. So I'm hoping what we're going to see is what leads Skarsgård to be a clown, or how did the clown start? Like you're saying, like, was he a clown and then he ends up getting cursed? Like I'm very interested to see if that's where they're going to go, and that it
Right.
starts out as a human, or has it always been something that was evil and he just ends up getting drawn in by it? I don't know.
Like he might be drawn, like he might just be. I think in the books it turns
Or is
out
he
that he
old?
was this sort of amorphous kind of alien presence
Oh,
from
okay.
another
Mhm.
dimension kind of
All
thing that
right.
was able to manifest things that it saw in the kids' minds.
Yes, their
And the
fears.
kid, I think the
Yeah,
kid was
they're-
afraid of a clown he saw at the circus, and then that was something he kept. For me, when I was a kid, I was scared to death of ventriloquist dummies, and if there was a an it creature that wanted to scare me when I was a kid, wouldn't really scare me now. But but when I was a kid, if you turned into a ventriloquist dummy and started walking towards me with a scalpel or something, I would be
Kind of like
terrified.
Chucky was kind of like a
Yeah.
ventriloquist doll. He was little and terrible, but he wasn't really a ventriloquist, but he was a little
He
guy.
didn't
Kinda
have that
clown-like.
ventriloquist face. There was
He
something
didn't
about
have the
that.
jaw.
It's
the jaw.
he looked semi-clown, semi-human, I would say. He wasn't like ventriloquist, as you said, not that
Yeah.
kind of a toy.
Right.
And I recall, like, when I was a kid, we had these film adaptations in India based on Chucky and all. Like, we had it in like different languages. Oh, I was super scared.
Oh,
Because-
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, he's the main character was neither a dummy nor a clown. It's a blend of something.
the Chucky character, and
Yeah.
you have the great Brad Dourif doing that that
Oh,
voice.
see,
Like,
Brad Dourif does it.
yeah,
I mean, the series on Peacock was shockingly good. Like, really good. Like, it was really violent. They totally got the humor. I get lucky enough to have worked on a couple of the seasons of that, doing the posters. Such a fun thing to work on, kind of like a dream come true, because Chucky and horror.
well, the first movie
that
is
was
a classic,
very
I
cool.
think.
And they lean into that a lot in the series. So they did a great job covering genres in each of the series, like each of the seasons. They
Right.
kept, like, the second one was kind of Catholic school horror, the
Right.
first was like high school horror, kids, and then the last one was kind of political horror. A little too
Well, what
close.
did you guys?
All right, let's
what-
check out the trailer.
What did you guys
Yes.
think, though? First of all, what did you guys think of the It movies? Right, there was the feature films that came out.
Yeah.
You want me to go first? I wasn't really in love with them. To me, they didn't have that spirit of a great Stephen King adaptation. There's these exalted films that really got the whole Stephen King thing, and I have to say it over and over. I love Stephen King's books. I love his writing. I love his ability to draw a character in like one paragraph, and you totally know that person and you have feelings for them already. And he's able to draw you into his stories by painting his characters so beautifully. And some filmmakers are able to do that as well. And also to capture the feel of what it is he's addressing in the book, not necessarily the things that are happening, but what he's addressing through the things that are happening. Like if he's writing about vampires, it's not just about vampires. Or if he's writing about a girl that can do telekinesis, it's not just about a girl who can do telekinesis. It's about the struggles of this girl in high school and her horrible mother, and on and on. But some filmmakers get Stephen King and some kind of don't.
Yeah, there's an element of like emotional character attachment to Stephen King, but my main problem with the It movies is that they were so big and spectacular that it distanced you from the stakes and the characters. I did think they did a great job production wise. I thought Pennywise looked great. I love the whole idea of his lair, underneath the town. Like they did a great job just in the production of the film, but I feel like they kind of gave way to that to a little less character development. But I did like the idea of like the kids and then the adults. They tried the kids that grew up and then went back to the town. I like that idea. That is sort of what the book was about too. Is that facing your childhood fears, which was embodied by it, Pennywise. But I feel like they lost some emotional heft. But at the same time, they were beautiful. They did a great job on the set pieces. But it wasn't like emotionally, like, oh, I'm so scared for these people. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see someone get killed.
Right.
So
I guess for me it was more about like they did have like jump scares here and there, and there were a lot of loud noises, I should say. I don't know, it was like, okay, if there's a loud noise coming in, definitely there's going to be a jump scare either following it or it's before that. But as you said, they did really very good on the production. I mean, they did use a lot of CGI, like compared to the older movies where you didn't have to explore that path. Which is a good and bad in a way, because you tend to be more focused on those things rather than, as you said, the story part of it, like building up the characters or anything related to them. So
sometimes those
we're 8 minutes
overwhelming-
in. We need to
those
look at this
overwhelming
trailer.
Things kind of really do take away from the feel of the characters in the story.
Oh, I'm hoping this is like did you say a 9-episode series due out and like probably near Halloween? I'm assuming it said late 2025, which I'm hoping is Halloween. So we know a lot about it. We know a lot about the book. We've seen the movies. I'm very interested to see what they do with this series. So we know a lot about it. Let's see what they do. Hopefully they'll have characters. So let's take a look. All right.
Ready to roll?
Ready to roll.
Ow. Okay. And quiet.
Cat.
You poor thing. Get in before you catch your death of cold.
Now you just tell us where home is, and we'll get you back to your parents safe and sound, okay?
Anywhere but Derry.
My family and I just moved to town.
Love the time period.
Hey, baby.
So idyllic.
Yeah, people think good old
She
days
was 4
for white
months.
people.
Nope.
And they never even found a body. That means murder.
This business with the missing kids. Do I need to be concerned?
Never a bad idea to keep the people you love close.
No adult's ever gonna believe what we saw. I wouldn't.
There's a history of stuff like this happening in Derry.
You kids keep your noses out of police business.
I heard voices. In the pipes.
Oh, that's
Have you ever heard of something like that?
red balloon.
There's something bad here in Derry.
Here it comes. Okay, so it's not going to be Scars as a human becoming it. He was always it.
It's already
It's always it.
already a clown.
Already
Yeah.
Pennywise. Okay. So I do feel like they are leaning toward character, and this looks like it's got a lot going on. We have the 60s, the good old days, like you said, the racism, the
Right.
fact that probably the cops weren't spending a lot of time looking for little children that were missing who were not white. So there's that.
Right.
So Pennywise is being very smart about who he's attacking there. But
There was
it has that Stranger Things vibe, which that them riding their bikes down the street got me very excited because I love the idea of these kids trying to solve this. It's a
Right.
great idea. It's so good. And of course the parents are like, what are you talking about? Or
Right.
you don't understand. And then they give them this little smile, which was super
You kids and your imaginations.
really, it's
Yeah.
probably a nightmare.
Yeah.
So,
You need to stop eating sweets. But it to me that it does have the trailer anyway does have a kind of vibe of a Stephen King. You know,
Does.
there's nothing is perfect in the good old days.
Right.
It's like people think you always read online whenever that somebody posts a picture on social media of something from the 40s or the 50s or something. People are like, "Oh, I wish I had a time machine. I could go back." And it's like every time somebody posts like, "Oh, that was back when people had respect and people dressed nice to go to the movie theater." You know, they always have these dumb things that they think are awesome about the old days. And I feel like every time somebody posts something like that, what you need to add at the end of what they said was for white people,
yes, exactly.
because it was not the good old days for a whole lot of American people. If you're talking about America,
That's right.
but that's what Stephen King sometimes addresses in the books, where he'll take that idea, the idyllic, beautiful, the 50s, sort of like David Lynch does it too, where he'll show you something that looks beautiful on the outside, but that once you look into the details, it's
underneath the facade.
it's haunted. The world has always been haunted.
What do you think, Ramesh?
I think I'm hoping to see some kind of a character development, honestly,
Yeah.
because Pennywise, I think, according to even Stephen King's character development, he's known as a shapeshifter. Like he takes a form, but it's neither mentioned nor stated anywhere that he's a human or something.
Right.
Because I was trying to compare him to like Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, similar, like children's imagination or their dreams. That's where the fear comes in. But again, Freddy Krueger was a child murderer to begin with,
Right.
who became a demon. But in Pennywise case, it's quite different. So
Yeah, I think he's pulled from the fears, from the minds of the kids.
Yeah,
that's where
It's
it comes
almost
from.
like what a demon thinks would be cute and disarming to children, so he makes himself a clown, which everybody loves clowns, but he doesn't realize it's like, no, that's not how it works. Clown,
And he's not exactly a clown, because when you look at him, it's almost like the face has these lines carved into it. So it's like sort of like Ramesh, or when we were talking earlier, Ramesh brought up Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
It's like those are biologically clowns. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not humans dressed like clowns. They are actually the species known as clown.
That's right.
And they're born as baby clowns and they grow up as clowns. And I think that's what Pennywise kind of is. But it's almost like you were also saying, like a demon's idea of what like pulled from the mind of this child who's afraid of clowns. Well, here is a demonic version of that, and that's not a person with makeup. This is a thing that exists as a clown.
That's right. That's right. So I think, we're not going to see Skarsgård without the makeup on. He's going to be the Pennywise of the recent Pennywise movies, and we're going to see he's existed apparently for a long time in Derry, and everyone's known about these mysterious deaths that are happening there. So we're starting to see kind of when people first start picking up on it, because probably they start killing white people, and that's when people noticed.
And then it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's an issue. I know. It's like so terrible. But I kind of like that they're bringing that up because, like you said, the innocent time, the good old days, but they weren't the good old days. And there was evil happening then. And a lot of it was like, all related to what color you were and how big of a problem it was. So I love that they're kind of bringing that up. Whoa. That was a very loud plane.
I know we got those flying over our house too for Memorial Day weekend.
So very interesting. I mean, I think it looks really intriguing. I'm excited to see it. We're getting the kind of the Stranger Things vibes, especially since Stranger Things is going by the wayside very soon. Final season's coming up. They've all grown up. They've all moved beyond the childhood innocence of Stranger Things. So now we have a Stranger Things based on Stephen King, which I kind of like that idea.
But from earlier, and it's the 60s, and the production value looks really good from a production design point of view. I was looking at this, and it's like, you can always go get your transpo people to rent you the right era cars, and they look new, so you get, that's easy. That's kind of easy if you got the budget. You can get the wardrobe. But one thing that I think sometimes is lacking is hair and makeup, because I think a lot of producers, if you put people in the 60s hair and makeup, a lot of producers are like, I don't know, let's make them look contemporary and cool. Let's make them look good and hot, and put like modern hairstyles on them and modern makeup styles and things like that. But I like it when I see a movie from the 50s or 60s or 40s or 30s where they actually go for the original styles, because when you look at this, you feel like you're looking at a movie that was made in the 60s. It looks like these are people from the 60s. The kids have these kind of awkward haircuts, and the clothes they're wearing are they're not cut in the current present day. Yeah, they're not cool.
I mean, they are cool now, but not then.
But I like seeing that because I feel like that puts you into the time. It puts you into the place. You don't feel like you're watching modern people pretending to be, we're playing 60s.
Right. So this is from the same people did the recent It movies. Looks like we have a lot of the same. So it's going to be very integral to those films. It's going to prequel up to the first film. So this looks like an intriguing project. I'm excited to see it. So we'll see that, especially if it's Halloween. That'll be perfect. I would really be in the mood for that during Halloween. So let us know what you think. What's your favorite Stephen King book? A lot of people say It.
Yeah.
And so let us know what you think
in the comments.
Yeah.
If you read Stephen King books, if you don't, I think you should.
There's so many good ones. All right. Catch you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.